Hey guys, how's it going? We are changing up the scenery for the Q&A today. We thought that back here, we finally got this area done. Reminder, that is not my rooster, but we finally got this area done and it looks all cleaned up back here and it's just really nice. And so we thought that we would just change the scenery up a little bit. If you noticed, Brent did paint the picket fence back here, so now you don't even notice it at all. It was white, now it's black, totally disappears, makes it so the fountain stands out a little bit more. And it's just, I don't know, it's kind of a cozy area. I wanted to start this video out by shouting out a local company to us. So there is some people who actually live a couple streets just away from us, and they came by. Her name is Amy and her husband's name is Dusty. And they came by and they dropped something off. So they created a board game called Botany. And so if you are into board games, this might be of interest to you. So I had to shout them out. It is done incredibly well. It's like gold here. It's just gorgeous. Basically, the gist of the game is you are a flower explorer from way back when. I don't know dates. And you go around and you have to go around the world and you have to collect plant specimens and put them in your warden case. And then you have to bring them back to your castle, your home, and everything about this board game is done incredibly well. And they are, like I said, they are local, so I just thought it was really cool. But even the inside here is done really well. The instructions are even gorgeous. This is your individual playing sheet. Even the back of it was thought of. So this is your estate. You have money, and the cards themselves are even gorgeous. So I wanted to make sure that I shouted that out, let you guys know about it. I will link it in the description down below. You can get it off of Amazon. You can also find it at Barnes & Noble. But this is something to shop small, support local, and literally support somebody from my own town. So how to shout it out. This is the game. It's called Botany. And here is the back of the game also. So every little detail was thought in this thing. We have yet to play it, and I am excited to get playing on this. Jalen and I love games. We're very competitive, so this will be a fun one for us to try out. So if you're interested in board games, I will put that in the description down below. Let's get into last week's videos. Last week was the Q&A, should I plant a rosemary hedge? New power planters. Holy cow, that's been absolutely amazing. I planted some salvias, window box refresh, and then I did a little bit of flower planting, which was planting my seedlings and some hostas. And so it was a really good week, and my videos were filmed totally out of order, but I wanted to make sure that you guys were able to see them and get them. And I wanted to let you guys know that tomorrow is the last day for the Power Planter Auger discount code. So if you are wanting to get a power planter, or if you've been trying to convince somebody to get you a power planter, let them use my code, tell them about it. And yeah, I had to I was like, hey, can we please do a code? Because if I'm doing an unboxing, I gotta share it with you guys. So it was good videos last week, and I had a good week with it, but my videos were filmed out of order because I wanted to get you guys that power planter code as soon as possible. And so the window box refresh and the salvia video were filmed before the auger video was filmed. I filmed it, edited it, and we released it because I wanted to make sure that you guys got that. So I had quite a few questions about why I'm not using an auger in both of those videos, and that's the reason why they hadn't shown up in those videos yet. The first question on that video was from Stacy, and she had said, "Happy week, Robbie and Brent. Hey, question, do you do any winter sowing? I'm thinking of doing some for the first time. I've seen it with milk jugs, but I'm gonna try it with water bottles because I don't need that many of each plant. Just wondering if you do, and if you do, can you do a video? Stacy from Philly." I don't do winter sowing in that method. I do a lot of winter sowing, technically yes, but not outdoors. I don't do the milk jug thing. We don't get wet winters here, and so I can't do them here. We don't get snow. We don't get a ton of rain, and so I'd have to constantly be refreshing them. And the method of using the water jugs outdoors is to be able to put them outdoor, take the caps off, have drainage at the bottom, and then you don't have to water them at all because you're supposed to be getting enough snow, enough rain, and when it heats up in the springtime, they're already acclimated to outdoor temperatures, but your seedlings are more protected. So no, in that sense, I don't do it, but I do start a lot of seeds indoors, and I start them under grow lights, under humidity domes. I'm gonna try this year, just because I'm in a zone 9, to do some of the Bootstrap trays with the Bootstrap humidity domes, because the humidity domes are really tall, and then I will just make sure that they have enough water, and I'm gonna try one tray outside in the wintertime, just to see if I can get it to work, because I think that that'll be an interesting experiment. But no, I don't do anything outside in milk jugs just because we're not wet enough. And the last question on that video was more of a statement, and it is from Graham's World, and she had said, back of your mind stuff. I have bird baths too, which I add a drip to auto refill, and I was constantly shocked at how quickly they emptied. Finally had a duh moment. As long as the system was on, the water flows out and the bath fills. As soon as the system shuts off, the water siphons back through the piece of the drip tube. I had to use rocks to make sure that the emitter was out of the water. Problem solved. And I wanted to say that because I had a few of you guys who had commented about that, how you wanted to add irrigation to it, or you had added irrigation to it and you couldn't figure out why you were adding irrigation and it was still running out of water even faster. If you don't have a check valve on your system, which prevents backflow into your system, what's gonna happen is water that's in that drip tubing is gonna get sucked back in because it's pulling all the water back to your house. And so you have to have a system on there to stop that, or you have to make sure that that emitter is out of the water. Where ours is, it's out of the water, it's in that like second bulb right there of it, so that way it's not gonna suck up any extra water. I should have mentioned that in the video. So if you are dealing with, if you put irrigation in your fountains, bird baths, whatever it might be, and you're dealing with it siphoning back out or disappearing extremely fast, that is why. You need to move where it's at. You need to make sure it's out of the water. The lion fountain that we have is also on irrigation, and it sits above the water level. I just never even thought to mention that, and so I am sorry. So I want to make sure that you guys know that if you're gonna add irrigation to anything, it needs to be out of the water. And the next video that we did was the new power planter and plants game changer. So good. It's been a lifesaver. I've already done a couple other projects. You guys will see them later this week. And I'm actually gonna be taking a couple days like just off from working. So I pre-filmed everything. So it's gonna be so nice. I'm just kind of like trying to mellow out a little bit. And so all these videos have already been filmed for this next week, and I'm gonna spend the next week just going to my day job, the 3 days, and then on my day off, I'm going to just actually have a day off, which is weird, which is very exciting also. So the garden auger, I'm gonna say works really well in clay soil. My friend, I was at her house and she has clay soil, and then I found a patch in our yard that has very rocky soil, and it worked very, very well. Like it was like big rocks like this. Worked great. The first question on that video was from Gardens Glory, and they had said, Robbie, what is the plant at 1020 that was to the left of the plant that you pulled out? Deanna. If you're talking about the green and white one, that is Euphorbia, and I think it's called like Diamond Snow or something like that. I started it from seed. It's from Johnny's. It's either Diamonds, they have it listed as Diamond Snow and as Mountain Snow on their website. Like you search Euphorbia, Johnny's, and it shows up Diamond Snow, and then you go to their website and it says like Mountain Snow or vice versa. I can't remember which one it is. So it's from Johnny's, started from seed, Diamond Snow, Mountain Snow. I don't know which one it is. And then if it's the pink one, that is the Beyond Pinked Bluebeard, and I love that plant. It is amazing. If it's the like pink, like one that like has like spikes, it's really, really cool plant. Huge pollinator attractor. They absolutely love it. It blooms late in the summertime, like it just started blooming a couple weeks ago, and that is one single plant, and it is massive. The next question on that video is from Hiri Valdez, and they had said, why do you add the biotone to the top of the plant instead of putting it in the hole that you made for the plant? I thought it would be better to be placed closer to the roots of the plant. Okay, so that was because I forgot to put it in the hole. That's all it was. And so I knew that if I just sprinkled it around and then I just roughed it in, it would be pretty much just as effective. So it has nothing to do with a reason other than I just totally forgot. So that's why. The next question on that video was from Tom, and he had said, what is the plant along the black fence next to the espalier trees? It has flowering pinkish blooms, looks like hair raining down. That is one of my favorites. That is Love Lies Bleeding Amaranth. So stunning. Started it from seed. This year it took so long to start blooming. They really should be started in ground, and they need a ton of time, and you need to give them enough space. If you don't give them enough space, they'll stay very small. So these ones, that is, I think, one single plant that is doing that. And then I have another one that's like a spike type plant, but the one that has the like draping is called Love Lies Bleeding. It is so spectacular. It is my favorite amaranth ever. And the last question on that video was from Susan Parker, and she had said, can you tell me if the power planter will go through black weed guard? No, absolutely not. You don't want to do that. What'll happen is it's just going to get caught in the auger bit, and it's going to just suck it in, and it's going to cause a huge headache for you. If you're going to do anything, which is what I've already done, you'll see it actually next week, you want to clear away whatever you have on top of the fabric, and then you want to cut an X in it, fold those pieces underneath the fabric, and then you can do your hole. But you need to make sure that that hole, or the X that you cut, is much larger than the power planter, because you don't want that power planter to suck in the weed fabric. Like I said, it's just going to give you a huge headache. I mean, realistically, your best bet is to just like not use weed fabric if you can help it. But if it's already there, I totally get it. But yeah, I would cut an X in the weed fabric and then do your auging. So nope, don't try to just go through that weed fabric. The next video that we did was planting proven winners back to the fuchsia salvia and mole and gopher prevention. And I gotta let you know, those things are working fabulously, okay? They're great. We're gonna wait for whatever this is. The first question on that video was from Michelle, and she had said, how about teaching your dogs to get the mole wool? Could you imagine little gopher parts everywhere? The mess that would make. No, we are not doing that one. I want Freya to stay out of my beds and not dig things up and not destroy animals. We've tried so hard to teach her to be really good around the chickens, and so we can have the chickens out. She hates cats, and I hate that she chases cats. I don't want her chasing. She also chases doves when they come into the yard, but I think that she thinks that's more of a game. No, we try really hard to teach her to be so good around other animals, because I am not going to clean up a destroyed animal. Okay, and you guys are gonna hear a little bit of noise. Sounds like some of the orchards around us are doing some work, so you're probably gonna hear some tractors and some sprayers and things like that. I don't know what they're doing, but they're literally just like a block and a half away from us, all these orchards. So if you hear weird noises in the background, I'm sorry. The next question on that video was from Sonia, and she had said, did you fix the walkway to your door? You were moving some plants and adding some stone to create a path. We have not fixed that yet. We are actually waiting, we have like another month probably until it cools down. We had a random cool spell and we finished the like fence on the property like this. And now we are in the 90s again, and we're going to stay in the 90s. The 10-day forecast is 90, 98. It's just under 100 degrees, but definitely still in the 90s. So we're still really hot, and we don't want to rent equipment and do all of this work in the full sun. So we're going to wait just a little bit longer to get working on this project. I think that this is probably just gonna be more of a wintertime project because it's too hot in the summer and late summer, early fall. It's just too hot for us here. The next question on that video was from Gina, and she had said, won't those bother the dogs or birds? So far, they have not at all. The dogs actually don't even pay any attention to them. Even when I had turned them on, I kind of thought that they would run over to me and see what that sound was. They were outside, they did not care at all what that sound was. So the dogs are not bothered by them. And the finch, I had the one in the aviary, and I was a little nervous. And at first they all flew down, inspected it, because they all need to know anytime something gets put into their aviary what it is. And it was actually really cute. It would make the like vibrating sound, and all of a sudden they would all start like chirping, and then they would look at it, and then it would vibrate again, and they would all chirp, and now they don't even pay any attention to it at all. So I don't think it bothers them, and it definitely doesn't bother the dogs either. And the last question on that video was from Kathy, and she had said, can you tell me why you like the short shovel? Is it more compact for tight areas or what? Thank you. I don't know why. I love that little teeny tiny shovel though. It's actually really easy to get into any bed. I have the taller version. I don't like the taller version. I like the little one. I can be just right there. A lot of times I'm on my hands and knees when digging holes, and so I can just take it and I can kind of get in. It's kind of like a big, huge trowel, very, very heavy duty trowel. So I really like it that way. Or is there a bird on top of that? Dang it, I missed it. Is it the yellow one? Yeah. I just really like it. I can get into any bed. It's just super easy, and I don't know, it just makes gardening a lot easier for me. I know a lot of people do not like that I use that shovel. I don't know why, but I don't know. It's easy. I can get into beds. My beds are very full. I cannot get in there with a huge shovel. I can get in there with a little shovel, and it just makes my life easier. Especially, a lot of it is because of the way that I garden. I have to climb into my beds and I have to like be facing back of my beds, where that's not how you would normally garden. Anybody who is normally gardening, you would be on the outside of your bed and you'd be putting your plant in. I climb into my bed and I'm facing out of my bed because I'm trying to film a video. And so it makes it even harder. Usually my butt is touching the fence and I'm looking outwards, where that's not normally what you would do. So I can't get a shovel in there and I can't pry towards the fence. That's a tall shovel. So I think that's what it is also, is like, for me, it's like a filming thing. I cannot get in there with a big shovel and make it not look weird. The next video that we did was plant shopping, window box refresh, and planting a tree. And the tree is dying. Just to give you full disclosure, it's not living its life. It went from shade to sun and it's not thrilled. It's very disappointed with us. I'm gonna leave it in the ground and we'll see if it flushes out. The other lemon cypress that we have on the property actually did the exact same thing. When I had first planted it, it had totally it was in shock. It was not thrilled, and it died back a little bit, and then it flushed out and it was totally happy. So I'm thinking that maybe that's what it'll do. It's just gonna go through a little bit of shock, especially because all of a sudden we were in the 70s and then we shot back up to the 90s and it was like high 90s. And so I think it's a little disappointed. The first question on that video was from Connie, and she had said, can you please do a fall arrangement with the wonderful zinnias from your front yard? I definitely need to get some more flower arrangements in. Especially before the season ends. So maybe we'll do, we could definitely do a pink one. And I have some hydrangeas that still look mediocre right now that I could still harvest and put in there. So yeah, we will definitely do some flower arrangements because I need to do a couple for my own sanity. The next question on that video is from SV, and they had said, hi Robbie, have you ever considered planting a shade tree in your front lawn? We actually used to have a tree up there. We had a plum tree and it produced the best plums ever. They were so delicious. And then it got canker on the trunk of it. And if we had gotten canker just on like a branch, it would have been fine and we would have just cut the branch off. But because it was on the trunk, we had to take the entire tree out. It was actually really upsetting because the tree was such a gorgeous size. It was a gorgeous shape, beautiful fruit, delicious fruit. Loved the color of it. And so we had to pull it out, and now we have solar on the front of our house, and so we definitely cannot have a tree up there, which is a big bummer because we would love to have a shade tree up there, but because of the solar we need the sun production, so we're just gonna say no to that one, which is such a bummer because it would be so nice to have a tree up there. It was gorgeous when we had a tree up there. It gave us so much privacy on the front porch, and we felt like we were like enclosed in, and it was magical, but unfortunately not anymore. The next question on this video, I'm not going to say who it's from because I don't want anyone to think it came across mean because I'm not offended by it. But they had said, I would have cleaned the windows before planting, just a thought. I'm not offended by it. My feelings are not hurt. I totally get it. But I do want to say that the windows are actually not dirty. They are, they have some cobwebs on them, but all of the stuff that you guys see on the windows in that window box video is hard water. The water that we have here is so incredibly hard. You can actually see the hard water right here. So see this trellis right here? This lower section here is from hard water, and that's the natural wood color. So the water that we have is extremely hard. And that's what it does to the windows, is it just absolutely destroys them. And so for a really long time, we had our sprinklers going and we didn't kind of realize that they were hitting the windows, and they were definitely hitting the windows, and that happened. And now we have tried like taking a razor blade to them. We have tried all kinds of stuff, barkeeper's friend. We've tried all kinds of different things on the windows, and now I just don't even care. It's a shed. So the windows are not dirty. They are hard edged with hard water. Yeah, like it's really bad here. The sprinklers, like our in-ground sprinklers, usually only last like 1 or 2 seasons because of how hard the water is. So we have to constantly replace them because they just get so clogged with minerals and things. It's really bad. Even like when you get out of the shower, you just feel like harsh. It's not great. We need to invest in a water softener, but I'm not doing that at this house. I'm doing it at the next house. And the last video that we did was planting flower seedlings and some gorgeous hostas. And the hostas look so good. There's one right back here and there's one right back there. And so far no slug damage, so we're doing all right. I should actually probably sprinkle some stuff around the base of them. What I use best, because I know there's slugs in this bed for sure, and in this bed, I use the Bonide slug and bug killer, and it works amazing. if I get it early enough on my hostas, and also throughout the season if I just constantly reapply it. So that has worked the absolute best for pincher bugs and for slugs and snails. It works amazing. I don't remember what the active ingredient is, but I will link that stuff down below. I go through usually a like small bottle every single year of it. The first question on that video was from Garden Girl, and she had said, "Hi Robbie, what direction do your raised beds sit? I love that area of your property. Would you ever consider putting gravel in that area? Love your channel." They get southern exposure. So like right now I'm facing south. This is the north. So like this is north, east, south, west, if that makes sense. So they get southern exposure. So they're getting hot sun. This section here also gets southern exposure, but because of the willow tree and the birch trees, it stays in shade. But the flower garden, vegetable garden, whatever we're calling it, gets full sun. It's about 11 o'clock right now. It's still in shade. It's going to be in full sun probably in about an hour. The sun is definitely getting lower in the sky as the year has gone on, but give it a little bit and that will be full sun area. And yeah, it's a really good area. But gravel, no. I won't do gravel in that area just because the willow tree loses all of its leaves, and then the birch tree loses a good amount of its leaves. It still holds onto some of them. And then we have a crepe myrtle, that's our neighbors, that loses flowers and leaves. And so this area right here just is constantly full of leaves and flowers and things like that, that if I was to put gravel there, it just would not work out. But I would like to do mulch in this area. 3 years ago, I put mulch down in this area, and it actually lasted until about this last year. So now it looks like it's just dirt, but if you look close enough, you can actually still see some of the mulch pieces. But I use the Pathway ground cover by Garden Time in my garden beds, and that's also what I use in here. And I probably will do a refresh this coming springtime. I'm not doing it until spring because the willow tree is gonna lose all of its leaves, and so is the crepe myrtle, and that'll be a huge mess and a waste of mulch. The next question on that video was from Seed Duster, and they had said, "Is that a drill I see growing amongst the hukra?" Yeah, it was. That was Brent when he was fixing the fence right here. I actually saw it as I was filming. I was like, I should move that before I finish this video. And then I didn't, and I finished the video instead. And I was wondering if anyone was gonna notice that. So yes, it was a drill. The next question on that video is from Yolanda, and she said, "Question about the power planter. I have very hard, packed, and rocky soil. Most of the time when I dig, I run into big rocks that I have to pry out. Do you think power planter will work with a situation like that?" Okay, that's kind of tricky. Depends on like how big your rocks actually are. So I was over at a friend's house, and she has clay soil and rocky soil, and her rocks were about this big, and it was fine. And then I had an area actually very recently that I didn't even know was rocky, and there were rocks that were about this big, and the power planter would hit them, and most of the time it just pried them out of the ground. But there was like 2 of them that I did have to pull the auger out, and I had to just pull the rock out, but it was actually still a whole lot easier than digging with the shovel. And if you have really hard soil, I would really, really recommend that you pre-soak your soil. Janie, where she was at, her property has extremely hard soil. And when I had first gone down there to plant, I was like, "Janie, I don't know if I can use this like auger to get into your soil." And she was like, "This is ridiculous." So what we did is we pre-drilled, it just went down just a little tiny bit, and it was like a lot of pressure. And then we filled that hole with water, and we let it pre-soak, and we went and we did something else for about an hour, and we let the entire area just soak. And we came back and we were actually able to dig extremely easy. So if you have hard pan, you need to let the water like soak into the ground. And if you have rocks, I mean, if you have big rocks, no, but if you have like rocks like this, for sure, definitely it'll work. The next question on that video was from Betty, and she had said, "Is that your train?" That is not my train. That is not my tractor. Those are not my roosters. Oh, this is a very quiet property. I'm the loudest thing on here, okay? The next question on that video is from Jordan. He had said, "Will you be planting tulips in the fountain bed this year?" I will definitely be planting some tulips back here. Tulips in my area do a lot better in the shade because we get so hot very early in the spring. So they do need some protection. So I think that they will do beautiful back here. I did just get an email that some of my bulb order was canceled, which is kind of upsetting. I had ordered bulbs for the landscape, and I ordered bulbs for the cut flower garden because I want to be able to use some in flower arrangements. And so part of my cut flower bulb order was canceled, and I went to go find some, and it's like everything is sold out now because everyone has already got their bulb orders in. I got mine in like a month and a half ago, and a lot of things are sold out now. So I wanted some like really cool, they're like an apricot parrot, and I ordered them from Johnny's, and they were like, hey, we didn't get the bulbs in, so we just refunded you. And so I've got to try to find something else that I can use for the cut flower garden. And the last question for this week was from Janetta, and she had said, Robbie, what is the color and brand of the paint color on your chicken coop door? Thank you. Never ending. I found it over on your blog. It's Herb Cornucopia by Bear, satin blocking paint and primer, exterior in semi-gloss for, in case anyone else wanted to know. Have a great day. Yes, you can actually, I wrote a blog post because paint question is one of my #1 questions about it. Look at the shadows on my face. Okay, we're almost done. Paint question is a huge question that I get all the time, and so you can go over to the blog, and I have a whole blog post on all of my favorite paint colors. So it's got our fence, it's got my favorite whites, it's got my favorite cream colors, it's got my favorite paint tools, my favorite greens. It has our front door. It has everything that you need to know paint-wise. It has links to my paint sprayer, links to my favorite paintbrush, everything you need to know paint-wise that you see here on the property. You can actually go find it over on the blog post. So that is going to be it for this video. I'm gonna go inside because these shadows are absolutely horrendous. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I cannot wait for you guys to see what we do this week. Thank you for visiting our garden, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye, guys.